IVM.
Hello and welcome to Football Twaddle. My name is Saru and I have my good friend Baru here in the studio. And we also have Kumar on the phone because
hey guys.
because
I wonder why.
if there is no election in the country, Kana doesn't show up.
I know, man. Like you should just. There should be a holiday every day. We have to record podcasts.
Yeah, yes. And we always wonder why we're doing this podcast. Who should listen to us? Who listens to us? Turns out we are the number one podcast in Cambodia.
Yeah, we don't even have to mention sports.
Exactly.
Across all categories.
Across all categories. So, Gary Neville, your opinion doesn't really matter in that country.
Yeah. Or BBC for that matter.
Yeah, BBC. So, yes, Cambodians, thank you very much.
I wonder what's happening in the marketing room of BBC Cambodia right now. They're like, how do we tackle these guys?
Yeah,
Who are they?
One guy doesn't even turn up. He's always stuck in traffic.
I think that's why we should not tour Cambodia. They might just take us down.
Oh, that way.
Or when we go, we'll travel separately.
All right. But that's the plan for next season, right?
Or pre-season.
Okay. So let's talk about this season currently.
Yep.
So since Kano is on the phone, he should have the first shot of trying to answer this amazing question, which is, Kumar.
Go ahead. I know this is going to be about Arsenal.
No, I actually thought about while trying to think about what to talk about. Arsenal will probably cover toward the end of it, and we'll talk about things not related to the result of Arsenal. But let's talk about Liverpool. 94 points. They have more points than any Alex Ferguson team ever, right?
Yeah.
And they will probably end the season at 97 and still lose the league.
Yeah.
How can a team have such an amazing season and just not win anything?
Anything.
Anything.
I think it's just that, when you say that they've had an amazing season.
Dude, wait. First, can we agree that they've had an amazing season? 94 is a lot of points to collect.
Yeah, but we're talking about the league, right? And at the end of the day, I think trophies are important. 90, and they'll end up on 97 points. They're going to win the next game. Let's take that. It's not just 94, they're going to end up on 97.
Yes.
Very high chances they're not going to reach the finals of the Champions League because, and I agree, they played brilliantly in the first leg of the semi-final, but they came up against Messi. And, when Messi is on form, you can't help it.
Okay.
One off. But then there is still the FA Cup and the League Cup, which I think they sort of blew it.
No, which is fine. But the question is, a team with 97 points generally should win the league.
No, but that means that City have been better, right?
Dude, but it's just so sad. The more you think about it, I was actually going through this. Liverpool, I think the day City lost to Newcastle, the next day Liverpool drew against Leicester, right? And they had a 6 or 7 point lead then.
They had an 8-point lead.
8-point lead. So if only they had just beaten Leicester, probably they would have won the league by last week only, because obviously, when you have an 8-point lead for next 2 months or something, the other team would just give in at some point.
Yeah.
So is it like that one weekend and they lost everything?
I think, they had a brilliant start. City were a little shaky. But you see the run City have been on. I think the last 12 games, they're on a winning streak in 12 games.
I'll give you a better stat. Since the Boxing Day match, Baru, City have lost 2 points. Or they've lost to Newcastle, which is 3 points.
Yeah, so
that means the second half of the season, City have 54 out of 57 points they will end up with.
Yeah, so Liverpool had it in their hands, right? It's not like, no matter how amazing the season has been, it was in their control. An 8-point lead to blow up in December
is something that only Arsenal does.
I thought we discussed not to discuss about Arsenal. So, Baru, how would Liverpool, let's say Liverpool get 97 and they come second, how would their fans describe their season? What would they say?
I'm just glad that I'm not a Liverpool fan right now, and I'm happy being in, whatever, 5th place or 6th place, wherever Arsenal finishes, because at least you're like, okay, we've had a bad season, okay, and we know what to improve on next season. What do Liverpool fans and Liverpool as a team, what do they figure out? What do we do next season to win it? At 97 points, it's the highest a team would have ever scored in.
97 would probably be the third highest points achieved in the top flight history. after Manchester City 100 and Manchester City 98.
Exactly. So it becomes the highest second place team has ever achieved. And that's such a like a weird record to hold, man.
Yeah, an analogy would be, I don't know if, ours is quite an adult show. So an analogy would be something which I saw on Twitter or Instagram when someone points out that no Alex Ferguson team has ever scored this many points. Some Manchester United guy made a meme saying that it's like having the biggest and being the cameraman in a porno. It really does not matter.
Yeah, that pretty much summarizes it.
Yeah, talking about the game itself, Rafa Benitez did no favors, and Fabinho had to dive right to get the free kick for the third goal.
Yeah.
As our guest from last episode correctly pointed out, Fabinho has picked up quite a few things from the semi-final against Barcelona.
Yeah, so Fabinho dived, they score, and there was, I don't know, Kanav, if you saw this, but Trent Alexander-Arnold also had a handball on the goal line.
I saw that. So, I don't know. It's just that they've also been, you can't just call it luck. They've had things going for them, basically.
Yeah.
This season. And still, in spite of everything, they've gotten a couple of dodgy calls. I'm not saying that City have not got them, but again.
Yeah, but so regarding that free kick obviously was so dodgy for them to score. But I was actually reading up on Alexander-Arnold's handball.
So see, technically, the ref made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because they scored. But I think that's a stupid rule, right?
No, it's a goal scoring opportunity denied. But then if you score in the same move, the goal is given. It also says that it's on the discretion of the ref to caution the player, which is basically a yellow card.
Yeah, no, I know the rule. But my point is that would you rather have a goal or
aggression,
bro? Would you rather take a penalty and a red card as an opposition team? So the rules are skewed towards someone who's made the foul, right? Which is not right.
Yeah, but
I know this is.
Okay, let's put it this way. If Newcastle, you know how Newcastle scored that goal, right? They missed two chances and the third guy basically gets to score that goal. The first one was a handball, the second guy misses it and the third one scores, right?
Yeah.
So Newcastle also probably were debating like you. Red card de le ki nahi le? Kya karna hai?
Like the rules should not be, it should not be left up to the referee to decide or the players to think whether to, score a goal or get a card. It's a red card offense.
Yeah, but it's a rule, right? It's a rule for every team. So you can't say that Liverpool had this special thing going on.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not blaming Liverpool for this. I'm just saying that the rules are not fair right now. This is a stupid rule.
All right. So anyway, now that we know we are recording this on a Monday, so we know that for the Champions League, Salah and Firmino are out. So you could just assume that they'll probably come back on the weekend and beat Wolves. They're playing Wolves, no?
Yeah, they're playing Wolves, yes.
So, Baru, Manchester City now play Leicester. So if Brendan Rodgers puts in a good performance, he can help his team, Liverpool, win the league, which he had promised a few years ago.
Well, even Benitez had probably promised that a few years ago.
Yeah.
He put in quite a good performance to not let them win it.
So I'll paint a scenario for you. 65 minutes, City versus Leicester or Leicester versus City. I don't know if it's an away or home. But with City, it really does not matter. Like with United also, it doesn't matter whether it's home or away. So for City, 65 minutes, the score is still 0-0. What do you think is going to happen in that 25 minutes?
I don't know. It depends on what Rodgers would want to send a message. What the message is that Rodgers would want to send out, right?
Dude, Rodgers obviously is going to say we need a draw or a win, right? He's not going to say I'm going to lose.
I don't know, man.
Oh God, let's not get into the conspiracy theory level. Assume Leicester wants to not lose, all right? And 65 minutes, it's 0-0. What is going to happen to City's mental faculties then?
No, I mean, City as a team, they'll just kick in and actually get that victory, right?
Kick in more than what they do usually.
Yeah, I mean...
No, but also the thing is that, City has experience of handling these pressure situations.
Yeah, they'll handle it.
Yeah.
Like Trent Arden.
Oh, yeah. But do you guys expect City to win against Leicester?
Yes. I think
it's Leicester at the end of the day, and Jamie Vardy has something against
City also. The top 6 teams.
Top 6 teams.
Yeah, so
No, but the fact is that that City doesn't have anything else to go on. After they lost to Spurs in the Champions League, you can see that determination in them to not let this one slip again, the Premier League.
Yeah, but that is just Okay, like in that way, to our teams, which is Chelsea and Arsenal,
and
we
you can
never
see,
had
right?
anything to go on for
So
for a
that
long time.
you see it in the performance. You see it in the Arsenal performance. You see it in the United performance yesterday. The players were not
Up for
putting in
it.
a shift. Yeah, not up for it, like they say.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Playing with
Arsenal at
the.
least had like Champions League football to look forward to, right?
But
yeah.
I don't think the players wanted. Seeing the way they played yesterday.
Yeah. So
And plus, Unai is probably like, yeah, Europa is where my strengths lie.
yes.
What am I going to do in the
Yeah,
Champions
it's like
League?
better to at least reach the semis or the finals of the Europa rather than get knocked out at the round
know.
of 16 every year.
The one small thing about Arsenal before we stop talking about Arsenal right now is that I think Kano pointed out on one of the WhatsApp groups that Unai Emery looks like Loki.
Yeah, he does. Like, look at the hair.
Okay, Baru, do you think he does?
Yeah, okay.
A little. All right, so I guess all of us are still saying, I don't know, I have a sneaky feeling that Liverpool are going to win the league this year now. And now we are like only by next weekend, by next recording, we'll know, right? So
I don't think
I'm
City
just
are going to,
I'm still sticking my neck out a week before and saying that I think Liverpool may win it.
City are not bottling it from here. I mean, they're going to go all out and they aren't going to leave it to the last second for another Aguero.
Oh God, 93-20. All
That's
right.
not going to happen this time.
So from a team which is not bottling it to a team which is bottling it, and no, it's not Arsenal or Spurs. It is Manchester United. Say hello to the new bottlers.
No, but United have not bottled it.
Dude, they
Right.
bottled
They've been
it.
consistent with the sixth
They've
place.
been consistently bottling it for 5 weeks. They've been bigger bottlers than the teams they're fighting for reaching the top 4. Whatever happened to that early optimism of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
No, I think it was just it's just the new manager bounce we see in a lot of teams.
Yep.
Whenever a new manager comes in, and especially after the toxic environment in the dressing room with Mourinho.
Dude, the toxic environment finished second. I don't know from where. I don't know what these fans are, because Twitter is such a beautiful tool that people feel the need to say something after every pass or every game, and then there's this United fan suddenly saying that. You remember that quote, right? Mourinho saying that the biggest achievement of my life is finishing second in this team. They're like, yeah, probably.
Emphasis on this.
Yeah, they're like, he's probably right. But yeah, we spoke a little with Yash last week about what has to happen with United. But dude, what do you think is going to happen in the summer? I don't get the feeling that players would want to come and play for Oli. Why would they want to go and come and play for him?
Yeah, and especially, when you're talking about signing players like, they're after Sancho, they're after Bale.
Yeah, Bale.
These players.
Bale wants to play golf with Rory, not with Oli. Football with Oli.
Would Jordan Sancho at this stage of his career, leave Champions League for a season? I don't know.
I don't know. Baru, would he?
What?
He shouldn't.
Kanav is asking a pertinent question like, would Sancho leave his Dortmund at this stage of his career to play Europa League with United at this stage?
He is the most expensive under 20 player currently, right?
He'll probably go for about 100 million if there's a sale.
Yeah, I mean, someone told me that Gundogan is valued at 60.
Who's told you that?
I was reading it online on Bleacher Report.
Oh,
I look for the positive articles nowadays.
Yeah. But what do you make of this whole thing at United? They're not going to get 10 new players, and you can't sack 10 players in any transfer season.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
See, United can win with this team, can win matches with this team, and that was very evident in Feb and March.
Yeah,
when
the first
Pogba
month,
was on song.
the first 2 months of Ole.
But the thing is that they can't sustain that level of motivation or something. So, as I mentioned earlier, we just need to keep changing the managers
every 2 months.
Yeah, so probably,
On top of it, Ander Herrera is now almost done to PSG.
Who's apparently their best player.
The man who gets United. Yeah, he's off to PSG. So what's left is Paul Pogba.
And who's the new Hamza Chaudhary lookalike in Chong?
Yeah, Chong.
Chimsa Chong.
Kaun hai bhai ye?
It's just Chaudhary playing in different teams.
Oh, Hamza Chaudhary. Now that we talk about it, do you know what happened to Hamza Chaudhary, right?
I think that is just stupid, man.
Yes, Kana, why don't you explain to Baru and via Baru, through all the listeners as well, what happened to Hamza Chaudhary?
So, Hamza Chaudhary had made some, comments on Twitter, like 4 5 years back?
When he was 15.
4 years back when he was 15. And so obviously, like, people evolve, right? When you were 15, if people just, pulled up stuff that you used to say, or whoever you take, like, you take the model citizen, you take Johan Mata and, see what he was saying at 15.
Model citizen. Okay. What did he say?
So you can't sanction someone for, what they believe.
Fine, but what did he say?
Some racist stuff he had said, and he's been sanctioned by the FA over it.
But this is but this is the beauty of the whole situation. Hamza Chaudhary can be sanctioned. Declan Rice had similar shit when he was 15, right?
And Declan Rice had said stuff about the IRS, right?
Yes.
The IRA.
Yeah. And
in support.
Support, yes.
Yeah,
Obviously.
you could say clandestine support, you could say, but nothing ever happened to him. So is this a clear cut of football FA racism?
Oh yeah, oh god. Just flip the tables on that.
Yeah, flip the tables, Kana. This is FA being racist, not Hamza Chaudhary being racist.
No, you see how, the stance on Declan Rice has changed.
Yes. And it is because of voices like ours that we are the number one football podcast in all of Asia and Southeast Asia. On that note, I think we should take a break.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, just think about it while you hear our ads. And after the break, we can't not talk about Arsenal or Chelsea.
I think we're done talking about Arsenal.
But I think in the end, as a happy moment, we will just talk about how Spurs could lose their 8-point goal difference and still be out of the Champions League. Stay tuned to Football Twaddle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a great new week of shows on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. And if you're not by now, why aren't you? You really, really should. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This week, we got a couple of new shows launching. The first one we have is ATKT Talent 10. The show is hosted by Rohit P. Man Pereira and Krupa Goyal. They're joined by the best talent from college classrooms across the country. Tune in every Tuesday for music, poetry, and fun ramblings. Business.Next by Bloomberg Quint. Learn about what it takes to nurture a culture of constant innovation in business and shape an organization. It's hosted by Govindraj Ethiraj and new episodes are out every Tuesday. The Equity Sahi Hai podcast is brought to you by the Motilal Oswal Asset Management Company. It's hosted by our very own Anupam Gupta and offers deep investment insights into sectors and stocks in a simple way. New episodes out every Tuesday. On the Scene and the Unseen, Amit Verma talks to Salman Soz of the Indian National Congress. He talks about his shift from economics to active politics and the disappointment of the last 5 years of the BJP government. Amit questions him about dynastic politics in the Congress and mistakes the UPA made in their reign. On the Ronnie Screwvala podcast, Dreaming with Your Eyes Open, Ronnie talks to me about his early life, moving from Grant Road to Breach Candy, organizing a rock concert in his youth, and taking calculated risks in life. On our new Parsi food show, Not Just Daan Saag, Parzen Patel talks to archaeologist and food historian Kurush Dalal about the evolution of Parsi food and its historical trajectory so far. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by dubbing artist Sanket Matre, the voice behind Hawkeye, Shazam, Deadpool and Pikachu in the upcoming Pokemon movie. On IVM Likes, the IVM staffers are decoding the movie of the year, Avengers Endgame. Beware of spoilers on that one. On Shunya One, Sheila Ditya and I are joined by founder and CEO of M-Pani, Akanksha Hazari. We talk about the future of retail in India and how M-Pani is building a local ecosystem powered by technology. On States of Anarchy, Hamsini talks to John Shaws, a fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, to discuss U.S. priorities in the Indo-Pacific. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
All right, welcome back to Football Twaddle. Kana on the phone, Baru in the studio.
Yeah.
My name is Saru. Kana, you need to. This is an interactive show. People listen to your voice. You need to say hello, hi.
Hi guys.
Oh God.
No, I'm still not out of the depressive cloud from the Arsenal results of the last month.
God, you just want to talk about it. Fine, let's not.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, what happens is that we talk about it and we talk about the same thing. I ask about Mustafi and then I feel happy about it and you guys feel sad about it. Let's talk about the people who are leaving Arsenal, right? Let's just talk about what happened with Petr Cech, Danny Welbeck and Aaron Ramsey.
The only thing good that came out of Danny Welbeck leaving is the memes.
Really?
Yeah, and also that one goal he scored against United in the FA Cup.
Don't you think it's kind of symbolic that Danny Welbeck and Aaron Ramsey were injured and then they were sent off from the club? So not as a playing staff but as an injured member of the squad.
Yeah, that has been Welbeck's. At least, Ramsey still had a couple of seasons when he played at least 70% of the season. Welbeck has been injured throughout his Arsenal career.
Yeah, which is kind of sad, dude. I mean, you can't... Danny Welbeck he can't finish or anything, but you can't fault that man for trying to do stuff whenever he's given the chance to play, right?
That's what we call Danny Welbeck scoring goals, trying to do stuff because I've never seen him hit a clean shot.
Yeah, an example of a Danny Welbeck goal would be Messi's first goal against Liverpool. That is probably a Danny.
Wow.
That's a Danny Welbeck beauty.
Wow.
That's Danny Welbeck beauty. But thoughts on Aaron Ramsey? 11 years, as he said, he was a boy. Now he's going a man. Why do Arsenal players leave when they become men?
It's just mismanagement on part of the club, right? Ramsey still had, so I wouldn't go far as, a lot of people are saying that Ramsey is a legend. He isn't, but
wait, the word legend gets thrown out so easily. He's not a legend.
Yeah, no, but he still had a role to play in this team, and especially, considering the situation we are in right now.
Yeah.
We would have done with a player like Ramsey. It's just gross mismanagement on part of the club, right? He's asking for 200,000 a week. We are giving Mickey that much. We are giving Ozil almost twice that much. And it's just a waste of money, nothing else.
So that's Mkhitaryan is a waste of money. So
yes, Ozil is a waste of money.
How much was Welbeck getting?
Welbeck was paying Arsenal. Welbeck was paying Arsenal.
Membership fees.
He's still doing
summer classes.
He's still doing the Troy Deeney. He's just paying to play football. Yeah, but Baru, you joined college probably when Ramsey joined Arsenal, right?
He's been in college for 11 years?
No, God. I said he had joined college. I never said Baru's still in college.
Yeah.
No, but our listeners don't know, right? So you have to clarify.
Yes, Baru is from adolescence, he's moved to youth probably. Yeah, so you haven't said anything about Aaron Ramsey. You've been kind of quiet this whole podcast. Are you sad and out?
Of course I'm sad, man. He's one of those players who... I think he's probably one of the last of the old guard. Because I just noticed when they were giving him the Guard of Honor and the faces that we saw standing in the Arsenal red and white, it just felt so, distant and disconnected.
The new ones, right?
The new gang with Mustafi and Bunty, Oba, Laka.
It's an entirely new team.
Gundozi, all these people, it's just that, and Ramsey with a farewell cannon and in his, suited up and everything, it just felt so... The team felt distant and you felt closer to Ramsey as a player.
Yeah, but there were not many Arsenal fans in the stadium to witness or send him off.
Yeah, they gave him the send-off before the start of the match, right?
Oh, I didn't know I think it was after, right?
It was after.
It was after, yeah.
Okay.
Because I read somewhere on Twitter that fans were singing "Don't Go Aaron" or something like that, but the fans basically left the stadium. So I don't know who was saying.
You don't go, hum to ja rahe.
Yeah.
Ek saal iski last local, bro.
Yeah. So I feel kind of sad. The only thing I feel sad about is, whatever said and done, he was 11 years at a club. 11 years at any organization is a really long time. And
I don't say that.
Dude,
I'm halfway through.
I'm at 8.5. So let's right. So
will you get will they call you a legend?
Of my organization,
yeah,
given that I fire anyone who doesn't. So, yeah.
Is this why our Cambodian fans connect with us so much?
Oh, dude, no. I'm not cracking Pol Pot jokes right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but, yeah, exactly. But then poor things, they should have stayed back in and this brings to a larger question, which... I think I asked Kanav yesterday, what is it that football fans expect of their club? What is it, not just you, in general, what is it that you want to see? Within the first 2 months, you know exactly what's going to happen.
There's nothing that
much.
You can ask. You can't throw this question at a football fan, because if you'd asked a Liverpool fan at the start of the season, will you take 97 points a season? They would be like, yeah, hell yeah.
And finish second.
But they didn't know that, right? They would have been like, hell yeah, we'll get what we want,
yeah.
100%, Aladdin, Genie and everything. And when they get 97 points and you realize that you're still second, what do you do then? So
yeah,
you can't, there's nothing, you just want to support a club, you want to watch it play good football week in and week out. Yeah. End of the season, where do you end? That's just
it's more of
end of the season short of,
It's more dopamine. Of a journey, isn't it? More than oh God, did we win? I have never understood fans who keep outraging at every Saturday,
then
every
Wednesday.
Yeah,
look at the larger picture, man. Relax, man.
Yeah,
chill. Have you seen Fever Pitch?
Oh God, really? No. It's you're going on about Fever Pitch since yesterday. Kana, do you concur with what we think about it, or are you
no, I agree. That the way the team plays, and see, end of the day, being a football fan is it's about joy, whether it brings joy to your life or not. I don't want my team to win every week. There was a part when I... No,
what are you going on about?
You don't want them to
win every week?
Let me complete, right? If it's,
out of context, we'll make a poster out of this. I don't want my team to win every week.
So end of the day, if the fans are not happy, if I am not, I'm not connecting with my team, if Arsenal suddenly, start playing defensive football and like playing on the counter, I would not like it. It's not the way I have grown up watching the club.
Okay, so that you're talking about some connect, right? So you're
so it has to. What connected me to the club, all those 21 years ago.
David Dean.
Was it? 20 years ago, man.
Was it David Dean?
It was Burkham actually.
Oh.
By the way, David Dean has been given the MB like a couple of days back. So
Wenger had it, but he can't call him sir.
No, so that is the OB, right?
Yeah. Order of the British Empire is sir.
Yeah, so this is MB.
This is like the Europa League of OB.
Yeah. No, so see, week after week when you watch your club, you have to feel that connect. You have to feel connected to the players. You have to feel connected to the team. I see that happening, lesser and lesser day after day watching the club right now.
But given that, let's say, like a lot of clubs, which include, let's put all of them in the same bucket, like Chelsea, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Spurs, so they have a stable team. But our teams keep adding players and chopping players so much every year that every 2 years or every 3 years you'll probably see an entirely new team.
But
right?
are you talking about players or managers? I mean, in your case.
No, players.
For us, it's just the players, right? Until last season.
Don't be as cocky as United. Even they said the same thing when Fergie was retired. They're like, oh, we are different. We are different. They gave a 6-year contract to David Moyes. Before that contract ended, as Kano pointed out 2 episodes ago, they fired like 3 managers. So let's not get really cocky here saying that is it players or managers. So again, how do you feel How do you feel connected to a team which changes entirely in 3 years?
It is. The club has an identity on its own, right? Yeah. The whole, it's the whole collective. The fans are a part of it. The management is a part of it. It's not just an individual. I don't feel connected to Ozil right now. When I started, I started following the club because of Burkham.
You should just see Baru's face right now. He was just staring into the abyss as soon as you said, I don't feel connected to Ozil. He's but I do. It's like life just went out of his face.
that whole connect with individual players has gone down. I think
Ozil doesn't feel connected to us.
Yeah. I think this happened again. I'm probably going off track and deviating.
Dude, this topic is so off track. So
we're so philosophical right now.
When end of season, bro. End of season.
When Fabregas left, that was the point. I took a decision that I would never buy another jersey with a player's name on the back. I'd just buy the club's jersey.
Wow.
That was a turning moment.
I always used to buy only the club jersey just because it was cheaper.
Yeah. No, but it's just that that whole connect. So now I am connected with the club. I feel it going down. Because the way they've handled it, I don't know what they're doing with the club right now.
Yeah, but that is one of the reasons why, I always support Sarri, let's say, till he's the manager of Chelsea, because you need something or the other to feel
anchor
yourself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so the old man wearing oversized shirts and just smoking cigarettes seems good enough for me. I don't need anything more than that. And I'm assuming that's what it is. Like, let's say next year or 1 year later, Unai Emery is fired. Or when Sarri is fired, how do you anchor yourself to a club and they change all the players? You can't. You need to basically.
Kumar just said that. I mean, these are not the anchors that you're looking for, the manager or the player. Ultimately, after a point, you anchor to the club's identity.
Yeah, that's
the fact, and it becomes more out of habit that you're supporting a club rather than something tangible that you're looking at.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not the results that I follow them for right now. It's just that I've been following them for 20 years now.
Results? Dude, if you want to follow any club for result, it's quite simple. Just do City
or Barca or something.
No, but let's be honest, right? The time when we started watching football, when we were kids, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that is what we had very limited broadcasts. We used to get matches of only the big teams.
I was 34 then.
But when you talk about football fans in India, we have Arsenal fans, we have City fans, we have not so many City fans, but we have Chelsea fans, we have Liverpool fans, United fans, because these are the teams who are performing well. You don't see a lot of Newcastle fans or Norwich fans, right? So that is what connected us to the club at that point of time. But over years, when you stick around, it's sort of like a relationship. I mean, I'm going very fever pitch right now, I think.
Should be at least I have the topic or the what do you call the title for this episode? Something about fever pitch.
something fever pitch. Something.
Yes, because we all selected one team each for this season.
Yes, I feel so happy about that team. I feel happier about that second table that we're supposed to track rather than the main table.
All right, so
because Wolves.
I was the larger point I was trying to make was we still didn't make the effort to watch every game of theirs just because we selected it.
But at least we track the results, right?
Yeah, so probably in like 5-6 years we'll be like, oh yeah, like the Fosun group of Wolves, like man.
Yeah, we'll probably host Wolves Punjabi on the podcast or something. They get like dhols and everything to every game.
The number one in
They
Multan.
had like Tony Bhatt as their captain for a long period of time, right?
All right. So since Baru got so excited about some random team, Baru, go ahead. What
I don't remember which was your team.
Bournemouth.
I chose a team which will neither give me happiness or sadness, just a static state of mind, which is 10th position probably. That's what they are, right? 10th or 11th.
And Kumar was Fulham.
Oh, Kumar is such a...
I was trying to support like Southeast Asia, but then things turned sour with Pakistan. The whole.
Yeah.
If it was Southeast, you should have gone for Leicester, right?
No, then the owner died and like, whatever.
I mean, there's too much tragedy with that club.
Yeah. It would have been amazing if Wolves had actually been a bit more consistent about their form against the rest of the table. Because currently they're still third on the top 7 table. But when you get all the other results in bottom and everything, they fall down to 7. They are 9 points, 11 points behind United.
Yeah, you want to know the most beautiful thing I saw over the weekend? Huddersfield versus Manchester United. Huddersfield, probably the worst team in the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't discount. But it's been 10 years now.
Last 10 years, Huddersfield, the worst team. They had a 8-match losing streak. They broke the streak against United. And
they have a total of 15 points all season.
They were 14, Kumar. They were 15. And the Huddersfield fans chant to United fans.
You're f***ing shit.
You're f***ing shit.
I mean, again, see, when you talk about fandom, this is a part of it, right? You like
when did they get relegated? Like what? December?
Yeah, they're bottom of the table. Yeah,
Boxing Day,
December,
something like that. They got relegated in Feb. We were taking bets on, I don't know, that was last year I guess, but yeah.
Football Twaddle does not endorse betting.
We do if you sponsor us. No. Yeah, so kind of did you feel happiness at that small moment?
Yes, and that is the point, right? You find joy in these small things. Like these days you get a lot of people saying that oh no, why you cannot have irrational hatred for any club. The X club is playing brilliantly. Y club has such a good squad. I don't care.
Yeah, I have an irrational hatred for. Let's talk about cricket. Chennai Super Kings.
I have an irrational hatred for
oh, that's rational hatred. Sorry.
I have an irrational hatred for any team that Mourinho has ever managed.
See, and I'm the complete opposite. It really does not matter to me. Other than Manchester United, I was so conflicted about it. Thank God he's out of that stupid place.
Yeah. Right. Like being a football fan is not supposed to, it's not a business decision that you take rational decisions and you employ logic in everything. And then a lot of people say that, like when United lost, a lot of people think that Arsenal fans should not mock them because, you're playing an hour later. Then what is the point? Like if you make football and following football so sterile, what is the point?
If following football,
might as well watch cricket, right? Then
yeah, but if following football is supposed to bring you happy moments, the most happy Arsenal or Chelsea fans got this season was when United lost, right?
Yes, exactly. Like we're all shit, but they're shittier than us. So.
Yeah. Okay, the last thing, Spurs bottled it. Two red cards. They could have got a third red card. So now Spurs
they're gonna bottle it next week. You write it down. Okay, I can bet my life on it.
So the situation.
Yeah,
here's the situation. Spurs,
Tottenham is on 70 points,
and Arsenal are at
plus
67.
Plus 8 goal difference.
And Tottenham have a plus 8 goal difference.
So Arsenal basically need to score 7 goals in the next match.
And Tottenham has to lose 1-0.
They lose now. Assuming that they lose, Arsenal has to score 7 goals.
They'll lose 4-0. Walcott's gonna score
to make it easier for us. Oh, Agent Walcott.
Yes.
Agent Walcott.
Theo.
And Arsenal are going to score how many?
4.
Paint this picture. You talk about Liverpool fans and 97 and sadness. Let's say Tottenham lose 6-0, but Arsenal win only 1-0.
I would still be happy, dude. That Spurs have
No,
lost
that's fine.
6-0.
That's fine for Spurs.
Dude, it's fine
that
for
is-
Arsenal.
How?
If they lose 6-0,
and Arsenal win only 1-0.
then the goal difference is still +1. Okay.
Yeah.
No, there's another, thing which might bring me joy still.
That would be.
It's a very long shot, but you know what happens if
Mourinho
Watford
signs up for Tottenham on the last day. And
What happens if Watford defeat City in the FA Cup final?
Oh, wait!
Yes.
I didn't understand that
if
exactly.
Watford defeat them, that they get the Europa League place.
No, if Watford defeat them, they get Europa League, right?
One Europa League group stage,
Yeah.
and United's
Go to the playoffs, I think.
the qualifiers
Yeah, Europa League
of
qualifier.
Europa League, which starts next month. Late next month, I think.
In July.
July.
June.
In
I think
June.
I think last week of
June
June.
26th or something. I think.
Like which country's club are they going to play? If
Burkina Faso ka European territory.
like imagine that country which Burkina Faso has occupied in Europe. Yeah. On that happy note, I think we shouldn't say anything more. We have 1 week left in the Premier League. We don't know if Liverpool or City are going to win.
Go City!
And we don't know if Tottenham being such big bottlers, we don't know that Arsenal may still make it through 4th place.
No, not happening.
It's Unai.
Yeah, it's Unai.
It's a new world. Unai world.
Yeah, exactly. And after that is FA Cup final. And let's hope Watford win that. So
But like the big match is tomorrow night.
Like,
right?
The best part would be United season would start when football Twaddle is on hiatus.
Nobody cares.
Yes, all right, Kana. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Baru.
Later.
All right, I have to do this now. I've made it a habit, so let's just go ahead with it. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to them or us on IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow IVM on the social media, which is @IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to reach out to us, which is Football Twaddle, we are @Footy Twaddle on Twitter and Football Twaddle on Instagram and Facebook. And check out for some screenshots of being number 1 in Cambodia in the coming days. This is Saru signing off.
Hi, I'm Vishal Gondal, an entrepreneur. I've had the chance to meet and understand how some of the super achievers have hacked their way to success, and they have done spectacular innovations. Now I take a closer look at these people's lives to find out what lies beneath the force, only on the Vishal Gondal Show. Episodes out fortnightly on Wednesdays on the IVM website, app, or your favorite podcasting platform.
India's a massive subcontinent home to truly stunning diversity. Behind the veils of smoke that obscure our thriving cities, our history is still alive, glimmering like sequins, waiting to be discovered. And if you, like me, are straining to hear the echoes of our past, this podcast is for you. I'm Anirudh Kanisetti, a history and geopolitics researcher, and I host Echoes of India, a history podcast about India, by Indians, and for Indians. In Echoes, we journey through the complex histories of South Asia and what they can teach us about our globalized world. Tune in every Wednesday on ivmpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app.